here. We had a little background noise there. I kind of messed that one up, but this is the Dr. James McConnell Show with co-hosts Carla Murphy and Tremel Henry. How you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Awesome, awesome. It's good to have you here. Mr. Henry, all the way from Georgia, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Born and raised in New Jersey, down outside of Atlanta.
I knew you had a New Jersey tone to you. I knew it.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then Carla Murphy, all the way from Buffalo, New York, in the house, 20 degrees.
In the house.
She don't know how me and you feel right now, Mr. Henry. Me and you got a little around 50-degree weather, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It feels good where I am. Actually, I'm in the South Georgia right about now. I'm traveling. And as you can see my background here. I'm inside my rig. So I'm a man with many hats. So I wear many hats.
I love
and right now I pulled over perfectly well just so I can do this.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. And see, I can definitely understand that. And I can understand a lot because that's what I do. So I love it. So here we go. Well, our first deal is world news. World news. Mr. Henry, I know you got something for us in world news. Talk to us about what's going on there.
Well, okay. First off, let me just explain how energy is so important. The energy you put out, it shall be the energy you will receive. And energy does not have a time period. It does not have a time period of expiration and so forth. So here it is. It was a 95-year-old woman, 95-year-old German woman who had partake into having over 10,000 deaths that she helped contribute to having to kill people back in a concentrated camp back in World War II. Mm-hmm. And they came for her and to take her into custody because she was alive, obviously. So from 95 years old, the karma that she was putting out with that energy that I was saying earlier, they wound up coming back and biting her in the butt, and they wound up having to take her into custody. It's sad to say, but really, you really have to live by the sword that you swing. You know, God's word is my whole breath.
So you're saying that she was 95 years old when they came and got her?
Yes, sir. 95 years old when they came and got her. And back in, I want to say, 1942 was the time period when it started having their genocide of killing people back then. And, excuse me, Tom was waiting for her. And they wound up catching her and told her to come on into custody. And they wound up having to extradite her.
Man, so if she's 95 years old, she don't have much time left, really. I mean, they really should have left her alone, maybe, because she have maybe 2 or 3, 4 or 5 more years left, maybe tomorrow, right?
And they say, hey, she gonna live those years right over here. Come on.
Man.
So it's a sad case. All jokes aside, it's a sad case. You know, over 10,000 killings of people. When you're gassing people to die, and you were a Jewish back then, you were gonna die because of your skin, because of how you look, because of your hair, because of how you smell. It's similar to us, you know, getting murdered off because we're black. Right. And at the end of the day, you sow what you reap. So if you're putting out that energy and you were a partake of it, and you know you contributed, it's gonna come back on you. Right. And unfortunately, it did with this. I would say like young lady, but this elder young lady.
Man, that is crazy. That is, whew, man. Well, we're gonna flip the script here, and we're gonna move into the story of John Young, the original king of Buffalo Wings. Miss Carla, tell me about that.
Well, thank you, Dr. James. Mr. John Young, actually, he has since passed away, but he passed away in his mid-60s. He had a chicken wing business, and the business used to operate in Buffalo, Illinois, and Oklahoma. He actually was one of the first people in this town to pair up the flavor of red sauce and using whole chicken wings. And so it was very unique. And if you haven't ever had a buffalo wing, you've been missing a treat. He used to make like a mumbo sauce. And it was so popular that there were, at one point in time in history, there were riots which destroyed a lot of the businesses in Illinois and Oklahoma, which forced Mr. John to start a food truck, which was successful for him. But when he came to Buffalo, New York, he realized that he wasn't the first person to discover the chicken wings and making them buffalo style. There's a restaurant called the Anchor Bar, and they actually made the first wings, and the wings were more of a sour with heat and butter, and that makes the buffalo wing. Whereas Mr. John Young, the mumbo or the mambo wings were sour with heat and sweet. So it was a combination of tomatoes and a variety of different Caribbean spices that he used. So they were dynamite. This article was actually in the New York Times just recently. So I thought it was worth mentioning that if you're ever looking for a great chicken wing, Buffalo, New York is the place to be.
Well, I remember you said that Buffalo has the best wings. So I know that Mr. Henry don't know about the live play that we're working on. And Buffalo is going to be one of the places that we go sooner or later. But Mr. Henry, and we want you in this live play, so I'm gonna give you details on that as we keep, going on this journey. Okay.
That can be updated, definitely. I'm traveling now anyway.
Absolutely, that's what I'm talking about. So some wings now. Miss Carla has me hungry now. I think I want some wings right now. But I'm going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. But you're saying those are not the Buffalo Wild Wings, right, Miss Carla?
Not the real deal. You have to have some buffalo wings in Buffalo, or someone from Buffalo who knows how to make buffalo wings.
Gotcha. And for our viewers and listeners, this segment that we're talking about now is world news. And so the next thing I want to talk about are the vaccines. So I guess this one is more of a questioning thing too. But with the vaccines, I've heard so much. Obviously, everyone, when you see on TV, you want to get vaccinated. And I'm sure that's good for the most part. But I've researched, there's been 170 some deaths after the vaccine has been took. Now, 130 some of those deaths has been elderly. So it's been around 40 people that has died that's earlier than elderly, 40s, 50s. Stuff like that. And you kind of look at, some of them would have underlying issues, so on and so forth. But I have a certain mindset about it and a bias. But before I say anything, Mr. Henry, are you going to get vaccinated?
I believe not, sir. I don't think so. I say that as I cough now. I say that as I cough, but no. I will not take any vaccinations. My wife and I and our children has been holistic for the last 12 years, I want to tell you, maybe even longer. The flu shot, I joke about this stuff. I really don't joke about it, but at the end of the day, the flu shot, I haven't taken the flu shot. I haven't taken vaccinations. We don't vaccinate our children to even get publicly or to go to school. We live by the faith, man, and we live by faith, and we stick with things that we actually know that works for us. Holistic is our way. We don't like to take medication. Everyone is just healthy as a ox, and prayer is just really heavy on our side. But I will not be taking any vaccinations.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? So the key here is, me personally, I thought about it real hard, but I'm not going to take it either, for the simple fact that, yes, I do go get the flu shot. I've had the flu shot for over a decade every year, only because if I go to the doctor for a checkup, they say, you want to take the flu shot? I'm like, well, yeah, okay. I'll just say okay because I'm there, right? So this past year, I've took the kids to get the flu shot. Flu shot is different though. So flu shot, maybe it helps me, maybe it don't. But the point is, I don't really get sick. I don't really get too many fevers or colds through the years. So I think the flu shot helped. On the other hand, this vaccine for COVID is scary because you want to stay healthy. You don't want to get sick. But if you get sick, are you going to make it? I don't know. But I do know one thing. If you take the vaccine, it's a chance it could kill you immediately.
Yeah. Not to cut you off. I'm just sitting here thinking about poor Hank Aaron. He was here on public television stating that he was in good health prior to him taking that vaccination, and then I think it was 19 days later or something, he passed away.
Right.
Or maybe less than that. I mean, that was so sad to see that because they want to use us to make sure that we are comfortable with receiving the vaccine.
Right.
And next thing you know, here it is right before our eyes. One of our greatest heroes, Hank Aaron, we're talking about Hank Aaron, has passed away. And I'm not saying it was because of the vaccination.
Right.
However, he's not here. Prior to the vaccination, he was here.
Right.
And it was pretty sad.
Interesting. I think Miss Carla has a different take. Come on, Carla, tell us about your take.
Well, I do have a different take on it. And I am very spiritual and religious as well. And I do truly trust in God, and I believe my faith is strong. However, I believe that at the first opportunity to take the vaccination, I believe that I will do it. It is extremely unfortunate that people have passed away from it. I've never actually taken a flu shot or had a pneumonia shot, but I feel as though being around people who are elderly, it could potentially be a protective measure for them as well as for myself. And from working in the public, I see the importance of it. I don't put my faith in the vaccination, but I do put my faith wholly in the one who made it. And I'm just believing that the vaccination is going to do more good than harm.
Right.
So I'm taking that step of faith and I'll do it.
I love it. Okay, that makes sense. On that note, we're gonna slide into our next segment real smooth like. We're gonna get into our, what you call it, Miss Carla? Self-improvement educational segment, right?
Yes.
We're gonna start with Mr. Henry here, though. We're gonna talk about Equifax data breach back in 2017. Talk to us about that, Mr. Henry.
Wow. Yes. Thank you, Doctor. This subject here, or topic, I should say, is so important, right? It clarifies your ability on what you can and can't do and what you allow to have to serve for you. So back in 2017, Equifax had this big old data breach. And you guys kind of remember like hearing something like that in the news. I mean, this is huge. When I say huge, this is like breaking the world. Over 200-300 million Americans and people across the world had gotten their data breached by identity theft. So you know that the hackers are like the smartest people on the planet, right? They're automatically designed to just break in and just get everything that you need.
Right.
So here it is. Your social security number, your name, your address, your email addresses, all has been hacked in cyber through a cyber breach. And what happens is now, because of that, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commissions, they are giving you the ability to have what you call like a cyber police report, but it's just a FTC report. And you're able to take that report and attach it to your name. And so for your credit, you're able to take the report and use it to show them, hey, I'm a victim of identity breach. So if anything shall come on my credit and arrive there without me doing and my knowing, I have this report in place. Therefore, you can go on and take it off. You know, if you're talking to the 3 credit bureaus there, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and they will honor you in your word to take it off upon a request. So this here works in the favor of so many different inquiries. Maybe you created, and then maybe you haven't created, but they're still honored to take and remove and look into it and remove all of those negative items, derogatory remarks that are on your credit. A lot of people do not know or don't remember about this incident because it's just like, it's like the news, man. One story in, the next story is out. One story in, and the next story is out. But this is a huge story. It's beneficial on a sad behavior, but it's on the sad part, but it's beneficial for all consumers.
Gotcha. But that makes sense. And data breach, yeah, I've heard of that sometimes. So it does make sense, right? So
it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to smooth into Ms. Carla. She wants to talk about how to develop good listening skills. Explain to us.
I need to listen in on that.
My wife is always on. I need it too, right, Miss Carla?
Absolutely.
Oh,
it's my desire to help. My desire to help people to become more effective listeners, and becoming effective listeners means you have to pay attention. Give the speaker your undivided attention, acknowledge the message, show that you're listening. I often talk about body language, but it's important that what you're saying aligns with how you're presenting. And so when you learn how to have good listening skills, it will help you to become a better communicator. It also will help you to be able to retain information. It will help you when you defer judgment on people. It will help you to provide feedback to people and to respond appropriately. But most importantly, when it comes to listening and becoming an effective listener, I really, really push the point. Listen to someone to hear. Don't listen just to speak. So thank you. That's all I have to say about that, Dr. James.
I love it.
I like that. I like that.
I like that too. Yeah. Okay. I like to get into recharging your mind, right? So some of the things I do to recharge my mind is I try to meditate 2 or 3 days. I like to do it every day, but I try to spend at least 2 or 3 days spending maybe 15 minutes meditating, which is closing my eyes. I may sit outside and listen to the sounds, because you never really pay attention to that till you close your eyes and listen. You can hear a dog barking, wind blowing, a bird chirping, sometimes a frog, things that you just don't pay attention to. I'll do that and I'll clear my mind of any business. And then from that part on, then I'll open my eyes and then I'll start again paying attention to nature and trying not to think of any business, just focus on nature. And then by the time I'm done, I do feel a sense of recharging. I know some people can just kind of take off work and say that's their time to recharge. But as you know, being an entrepreneur, you don't have a lot of off days. So just like you, Mr. Henry, riding on the road right now, so you got to do it.
Wow. I love this, your topic. If I could just chime in on that. I meditate every day. Every day. I meditate every day, Doc. And let me tell you something. I am in the process of a major soul search to see if I could love my inner self, how I love my wife and those who I value outside of myself, but I've never given my entire self the love that I could give to my kid or my wife.
Right.
That feeling, that feeling that you give to someone else, I've never in my life give that feeling to me. And I'm trying, but it's so kind of like, it's new. So it's like how you kind of like don't know how to touch something and you're like trying to figure out how do you pick this up?
Right.
That's how it is for me.
I love it.
So when you brought that topic up, that just makes me realize, it touches me in there to let me say, I need to say something about this, because I meditate literally probably for like 30, 40 minutes.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that opens up for what I say on this show, and you'll learn this, Mr. Henry, and you want to say it too. But at this moment, it's perfect for me to say, I love me some me. That's what I had to say on this show. so having said that, let's move on to our next segment, which you'll understand this one. I know I didn't send you this name, Mr. Henry, but it's called Ambassadors Symposium, which is our business segment. So on our business segment, we're going to start with Ms. Carla on this one. Ms. Carla, being organized in business, how do we do that?
Being organized in business is crucial. It's important. It helps you to save time. It helps you to prepare for taxes, to remove and relieve that stress that comes at that time. It helps with financial management. It also helps to position you to provide excellent and outstanding customer service. So it's basically your road to having success and reducing stress in business. It helps you to stop waiting in an endless sea of paperwork and to be able to fulfill your purpose easily.
I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Henry, IDIQ credit monitoring system. Well, tell us something about that.
Oh, wow, yes. So this pairs hand in hand about what I was just telling you about the Equifax data breach. So Equifax are the reason why people are able to get this data breach. Well, IDIQ, Identity IQ, is a credit monitoring system that allows you to take a chance to see what's going on with your credit. If you have any issues where someone who probably hacked your credit, it's a preventive method of a system where you're able to see what new charges, what new accounts that were unauthorized due to someone else, on your name. And it has some other things in there in the system where you're able to track your bank account, your spending habits. You're able to upload your calendar to the system. It's beautiful. It's at a point to where you're able to monitor I like to say your inner being that you can't feel. You can't feel your credit. You can see it, but you can't feel it. So it's your inner being there.
Well, that makes sense, and I love it. I like it. So let's talk about phone calls in business. So sometimes when I'm helping people or teaching people how to call a customer, sometimes making phone calls for some people can be, what you laughing for, Ms. Carl? For some people can be a task and a tall order. So I've had the experience with a lot of different people, not just certain people, but quite a few people where making phone calls can be a little intimidating. People won't use that word. They'll say they don't want to bother people or they don't want to this or that. But the only way to get a satisfied customer and to have them spend money on your product or products is you have to call them. And unless they curse you out and call your name, then you need to call them and call them and call them again. Because obviously, I'm not saying if they say no to call back tomorrow, that's not what I mean. I'm saying you call them, and if they say call back later or tomorrow, do it. And then if they don't answer, call back the next day. If they don't answer, call back the next day. They didn't say no, they said later, and they never answered, so you call back. Then when they get on the phone, you do your thing. So I think making phone calls is very important into growing your business. What do you think about that, Miss Carla?
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying, Dr. James, and you're 100% correct. However, I think that when it comes to making phone calls, sometimes we must take personality into consideration.
Right.
However, I do know that it is critically important to grow business, but it's equally as important to me to speak to people in person. So I think there must be a balance.
I love it. I love it. Well, I love this. Hey, this has been a wonderful show. We're so glad that everybody tuned in to our show, the Dr. James McConnell Show, with co-hosts Carla Murphy and Tremel Henry. And we are signing off, and we will see you guys next week, next channel, same day. We can't wait to see you. See you guys later. Have a great day.
Yes. Enjoy. Thank you.